Hi, I am Marina Mchetlidze. I host webinar Personal Branding for Service-Based Entrepreneurs. My guest is Shalini Subramaniam from Kuala Lumpur, personal branding coach. She explains how she helps her clients and shares her experience.
Once again, thank you so much for joining the personal branding session today. So today's session is mostly for beginners. Okay, I'm here to show you what are the things that you can do to get started with your personal branding. And I'm positive that when you leave the room today, you will take away a lot of things from the presentation today. But the one thing that I want you to remember is that if you have waited very long to actually establish your personal brand, I will tell you that when you're leaving the room today, I want you to remember that you need to get started now. Because as we all know, there is no other, the best time for you to start building your personal brand, because the world has changed. I mean, we used to say that the world is going to change, but the world has changed, and we have seen in our own eyes, things have changed, everything is shifted online. So we have to do our role as a business or someone who is looking for a better career, someone who's looking to establish your business, then personal branding is definitely a way to go for you. Okay, so let me actually start my screen and my slides. But before that, if you have any questions throughout this session, you can keep it to yourself, or you can put it in the chat box first, because I'll answer you at the end of the session. Okay, so if I ask you any questions, you all know in the Zoom, there's a reaction button. So there is a clap button, and also there's a thumbs up button, right? So can I have thumbs up from everyone? Can I see thumbs up from what? Actually, there's more functions now. I used to have only clap and also thumbs up, but I see more reaction. Okay, that's nice. I have Mari, Tamuna, Jasper. Okay, great. At least I can't see your face, but I see that, you know, your reaction is coming in. I know that you are there. That's great. That's great. Okay, so whenever I ask for some reaction, so I expect you to do this, to use this reaction button so that I know you are there and we are interacting with each other. I don't feel that I'm talking to myself. Okay, so let me share my slides. Okay, so this is me. I'm not going to talk about me much over here. If Marina have more things about me later, to talk about me later, then we will go to the end. You all are here to learn about branding, so I'm going to go straight to how you can brand yourself. Okay, now we are all awesome. We have wonderful things that we want to achieve. We all have great ideas, and you know, one day we know that our idea is going to transform a lot of life, and you know, it's going to bring a lot of changes to some people, and you go out there, you spread the news to people, but what happened? No one is listening, no one is responding to you. And this was me 2 years ago when I started my business. That was as a digital marketing trainer. I was very new in the industry. Okay, so going for paid advertisement, that's different, but I was focusing on the organic leads itself. So when I go in and talk to people, I already had a good number of followers back in other platforms like Instagram and Facebook. But you know, those followers came when I was in corporate. You know, they were some of my friends or people who just got to know me. But when I left my corporate and went to business full time, and then I went out there and say about the great idea that I have, the great things that I will be able to do with the service that I provide, no one was responding to me. And that was very disappointing. You know, I know that my idea is very interesting. And people, with that, I thought that people would be very much open to buy my services. But when that happened, I was really disappointed. And at that point of time, I just wanted to give it up. I just wanted to give up. And I'm sure this is related to some of you who might have started as well, your business, or maybe the career opportunity that you're looking for. And during that point of time, I really didn't know how to proceed. And unknowingly, the coach that I had during that period of time introduced LinkedIn to me. And I just treated LinkedIn like any other platform that I had. And again, I would like to say, unknowingly, I started building my brand on LinkedIn. And the only thing that had my mind was that I need to make this happen no matter what. I need to spread my message to people no matter what. And that's when I went from no followers, very few clients, to building my own authority, the trust in the people and the success that I want to have. And I want to tell you that this actually doesn't only change my brand on LinkedIn, but all the other platforms, either Facebook, Instagram, my podcast, everything changed because of the brand that I have started building on that one platform. People from the other platforms start recognizing me as well. And I want to tell you, if you think that, okay, this is great, I'm going to go start building my brand. Today, I'm going to post my first post on my social media or my blog. Tomorrow, I'm going to wake up to a brand new client. That's not the case. Personal branding is going to take a quite number of time. I would say a quite long period for you to get the authority, for you to gain the trust from the people. And that actually starts from that is what we say as a customer journey. Like eventually, if you're doing business, then we talk about this, we talk about your customer. If you are looking into different kind of opportunity, maybe career opportunities, speaking gig opportunities, the journey is still the same. It's just that the audience that are involved in whatever that you're trying to offer out there. Now, whoever start to get to know your brand, when you start branding, that's where the awareness part comes in. That's where people are warming up to who you are. Suddenly, who's this person talking about their product or talking about their services, their story out there? That's where the awareness starts. And slowly, they move on to the interest. What is interest? That means they are showing some kind of interest in what you're doing. How? By engaging in your content, by reaching out to you, want to find out more about what you're actually doing. That is where people are actually showing interest. And then slowly, they are making some kind of decision. And that's when they want to get on a call with you or maybe meet you in a person because they want to know more, because this is something that they are truly interested in their own life. And finally, where the conversion actually happens. Eventually, many of us, the end part is the conversion, because that's what we are looking for. True branding, how are you going to convert those leads that we have as a customer? So that's what I say. Personal branding is going to take some time, from awareness to interest to decision, and finally for them to take the action to buy from you. And each and every stage of this have a different kind of methods that you'll be applying throughout your branding journey itself. Okay? Now, for any of you who have started building your personal branding, okay, where do you see yourself? Number one, okay, for people who doesn't know anything about branding, you are here, you don't know anything about branding, you are unknown. You heard for the first time, okay, when Marina announced there's a personal branding webinar coming up. You heard for the first time. That is the second level. The third level is you start being aware about personal branding. That is today. Through this webinar, you start understanding what is personal branding is. And number 4 is when it's intriguing, you want to go and explore what is this all about. And lastly is where you execute. You take the action to start your personal branding. So this could be your journey, and find out, where do you actually stand? Where would you position yourself if you have started your personal branding journey? And even if you have started executing personal branding, there are different levels as well. For people who are just getting started, maybe you're starting as a listener. You are out there, you are scrolling through the social media platforms, you are seeing what people are sharing, you just want to get as much idea as possible. And that is level 1, you're listening. And second, you start supporting. You're supported. Sorry, I think I can hear someone's background. That might be a little disturbance for others. Let's see.
Please mute your microphone, please.
Okay, I did that. Okay, where was I? Number 2, supporter. You will be supporting the other influencer or any other platforms or the niche that you're specifically interested in. That means you go out there, you comment on others' poses, you share their poses, you give good values through supporting them. And then the third level is where you start contributing. This is where you write your own posts. You have the confidence to write and put yourself out there, whether through written poses, videos, audios. That's where contributors. And lastly is fourth is collaboration and contribution at the same time. Collaboration, why? When you start building, when you start contributing, more people will start understanding your expertise and more people want to learn from you. And that's where people start connecting with you and initiate the contribution to others around you. And you will be contributing around. And so these are the 4 different levels of execution that anyone who's getting started will also go through when you're starting your personal branding. So look through where are you currently, because that will help to move you to the next level. If you think that you're still in the supporter, how can you move to the contributor level? Okay, so we must always look into moving to different levels each and every time, improving ourselves throughout this journey. Now, coming back to personal branding. What is personal branding? What is the buzzword is all about? Why everyone talk about personal branding now? Now, if you go and ask 100 people, everyone have different answer for this. What is personal branding? And for myself, I think personal branding is an emotional response of someone towards your brand or towards someone. It could be positive or it could even be negative. So think of any brand. It could be McDonald's, Starbucks. It could be our own Gary Vee, Richard Branson, Tony Robbins. What do you have? What are your emotions when you think about them? And that includes their personality, how they speak, their tone, what are their interests, the way they dress up, their tone, their gestures, everything is part of your personal branding. And everything about you that you want people to know. Okay, note that I say everything that you want people to know. I have this question, a lot of people ask me that, do I need to share everything for me to build my brand? Like every single thing that's happening in my life? That is a myth. You don't actually share everything. You selectively choose what you want to share that you want people to know about you. That is the emotional response that you want people to have when they are connecting with you. Okay? And personal branding is the strategy that you take in order to take control of the emotional response of someone towards you. For example, I know Marina through LinkedIn. Now, if I'm meeting Marina face to face, what would be my response? What would be my emotional response to her now? From whatever that I've seen, that I know that she's a very pleasant person, she's very soft-spoken, very, dedicated. Now I want to see that when I meet her in person. And your real life and your real life is always the same. And that's what we try to achieve when it comes to personal branding, whether it's offline or whether it's online. And when we're talking about personal branding itself, okay, the most important is definitely identifying what is your purpose. What are you even doing? Why are you even building your brand? What is your purpose? With that, you want to find out these 3 components below the purpose. Okay, when you have the purpose, it's because you want to fill up these 3 components below. What are your expertise is? Okay, why do you want people to come to you? When you're building a brand, you want people to come to you. Think about what are your expertise, what are your accomplishments that you already have. Doesn't matter if you're a student, if you're in a new career, if you're a business, if you're in corporate, what have you achieved before, and what do people come to you? You're the go-to person. And secondly, the target audience. The target audience is, what are you trying to solve for them? What is the problem that they're facing that you are providing the solution for? And the third one is yourself, your unique self. Okay, why are you different from the others out there? How do you differentiate with the people who are already out there building their brand at the same time? You know, with the trend now, each and everyone is going out there and building their brand. But there's one thing that will differentiate you from everyone, and that I will talk to you at the end of the session today. Because a lot of people say that, it's tough. Competition is very high. How am I going to fight with so many people online? Right? I'm going to answer you at the end of the session today. Okay, so stay tuned until the end. Now moving on to the second one, to the next slide. A lot of people have this assumption as well, that when you promote yourself, which is branding, is actually bragging about yourself. And there's a very thin line between self-bragging and self-promotion. I have my friends who doesn't want to do personal branding because they're afraid they go out there and start bragging about them. And that's why I say there's a very thin line. And the intention actually matters. What is your intention when you are trying to put a certain content out there? And you don't want to be labeled as an arrogant. Here, you are looking into gaining your visibility and opportunities. Any kind of opportunities that you want, it comes through your personal branding. So 100% is self-promotion. Have the right intention behind every single thing that you put out there, every single post, every single photo, and know that the intention behind posting all this is not to make others jealous of what you have achieved. And that's why at the end of the session, I'll show you the content that you put out there is not all about success, but there's so many other elements in the content itself when it comes to personal branding. Okay, I will show you at the end of the session today at the slide. Moving on. Now, who needs personal branding? This is also very, very, interesting question, or very, very always been asked by a lot of people. I would say everyone, everyone who wants a name for themselves, who wants to establish a good reputation, needs a personal branding. You can be a mother, you can be a father, you can be an author, musician, designer, doctor. If you build a brand, it's going to differentiate you from anyone out there, everyone and anyone out there. And people who are building their brand, they are within this circle. They have an intention. Their purpose is within this circle. They either want to make money, they have great expertise, they have great accomplishment, they know that their expertise is going to help someone to drive their passion at the same time, and they make money out of that. Or some people, you have something to say, they have some beliefs, some political views, some environmentalists, they have something to say to the world and they just want to share that. Thirdly, you want to share your passion. Maybe you're a photographer. You can see tons of photographers on Instagram. Maybe you're a makeup artist. Maybe you're a creative design. Maybe you're an art person. You want to share your passion to the world. So the purpose, the intention why you started the brand was because you want to start your passion. And obviously establishing your expertise. Maybe you're someone new in the industry and you want to learn from the people around your industry. Now going out there building a brand, how to establish your expertise as well by knowing these industry people. Building relationship. Okay, this is the core definitely in the personal branding. building relationship, the more people that you know, the more people know you, is going to help your personal brand in the end. And definitely boosting your confidence at the same time. Because you're putting yourself out there. It's not easy. For anyone who is in their journey building their personal branding, you know that it is not easy to boost your confidence, to actually brand yourself, talk about yourself, your success, your failures to people. So this is where the cycle comes in when you're building your brand. The intention behind whatever that you're trying to create. Okay? Okay. This is also an interesting question that I always receive, right? I am not an expert. Who will even listen to me? The issue is that most of us think that there are only one type of experts out there. There are actually three types of experts if you actually look through. Okay, there are result-based experts who we actually go to most of the time because they have very strong social proof. They have proven to the people, they have proven through their clients that their method works. So they have produced a lot of results for their clients. And this is where our trust goes. This is where it's easy to create the trust. So we go to them. But a lot of us, we start from scratch. Every single person who's an influencer now, or have to achieve a certain success, actually started from zero. So they have built around this period of time between these other two type of expert. Second one is role model expert. Is where I got started as well. So role model expert is someone who shows that she or he can actually produce the result for herself or himself. And he's showing to the world, sharing the journey that, see, I'm doing this. I was here. Now I'm here. Now I'm here. Now I'm here. So you're showing a journey where you are achieving the success. And when you actually show that, a lot of people are intriguing. They want to know what you did. I want to know what you did. Now I want to learn from you. That is role model expert. Now there's another type, interview and also research expert. These are the people who actually doesn't know much about the industry, but they go and learn from the others. You see a lot of people who are doing podcasts, YouTube videos, they like to interview experts in their industry and learn from them. Or over time, they have a very good understanding of the particular niche. And they become expert themselves as well, just by learning from the different people in the industry. Okay, so if one day you feel that, who am I to even go and talk about what am I doing? Just remember that you might fall into the different categories. You might not be the result based. You might fall into the other two categories. Okay. Now, why personal branding? Someone also asked me just now. Why personal branding? It's simple. Success in the end. That's what you get. Okay. You can only become successful knowing a lot of people or a lot of people knowing you. From lack of clarity in what you want to do, the personal branding help you towards the success. What kind of success are you talking about, Shalini? It can be the success that you want. The brands, each and every one, personal branding strategy is different. The purpose is different. So the success is based on your purpose. So whether you are there to get a new job, to grow your business, get more clients, get leads for your business, book that speaking gig, that or any other opportunities that you want, that actually come under this session. Okay, and for you to actually be successful, you need to be really passionate about two things: the work that you do, okay, the work that you do, and yourself. It's yourself. You need to be passionate about yourself, because eventually it's personal branding. If you're not passionate about your work and yourself, it's difficult to attain the success, the opportunities that you are looking for. So whoever asks here, why am I supposed to brand? Is to go look for the opportunity that you want. It's as simple as that. Where do you see the success for you? That's where the opportunity lies. Okay. Now, these are some of the testimonials that I've received from my clients. Why am I showing this? Is because I want to show you the result. The result. What's the end result that I'm talking about? What's the success that I'm talking about? The success for some people is getting new clients, multiple leads. Success for some people is, becoming a speaker, get opportunity as a speaker, get connection requests, and getting orders from clients, invited as a speaker. So this is the opportunity that I'm talking about. By started branding themselves through my program, they are here achieving all these results. And this is what I'm talking about. Every single person, opportunity and success looks different. So these were what my clients have achieved through building their brand itself. Now, to get started, this is the question that a lot of people have. Now, I want to start my personal branding. What should I do? Okay. One thing that I will do, one thing that I would like to say is that to get started, just get started. Remember that different level of personal branding journey that I showed you just now. Okay, you actually start from someone who is just listening, someone who's just supporting. Then you have to start as a listener. Just start somewhere. Before you go through these stages that I'm showing you in this pyramid, you need to just get started. Because, you're going to agree with me, right? Some days you just don't want to get up, and, go for the workout that you do every day. But when you push yourself out there and go, once you come back, you feel happy about it. And it's the same. When you push yourself out there to get started, that's where you gain the momentum to go further, to move further. And if you don't start, it's never going to happen. So start listening, supporting, contributing, and go up the level. Now, when you're getting started, when you're becoming a listener, that's where you start, looking into your purpose. Why are you here itself? So it's important to know when you're going out there, putting yourself out there, you want people to recognize you for something. So when you want to be recognized for something, you want to be good at something. What you want to be good at. That's the purpose. It could be something that you're already expert in, or you have accomplished a lot of things in that, or it could be something that you're deciding to become expert now. That is the purpose. So when you're deciding to become expert, the type of role the type of expertise now is under the role model expert and also the interview research expert. You're not under another session of expert. This is what I was talking about, right? They're not under the result-based expert, but rather you'll be under the interview and also the role model expert. If you think that you want to start with something that is totally new for you. Now, values and team. What qualities or values that do you want to be associated with? When you're showing up yourself, when you're writing, what is your tone? And when you're speaking to someone, do you appear energetic? Do you appear very soft-spoken? Do you appear very elegant? Who you are. The values, like I said, the personality of you, the team of your business is something that you have to decide as well. And the channel that you choose to distribute your content, to grow your brand. Which channel? There's so many channels out there. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter. It's just a lot. Where do you want to focus? And then the most important is definitely your content strategy. How are you educating people? How are you providing value to people through the content that you're putting out there? It could be written content. It could be your YouTube videos. It could be your podcast. It could be your blog posts. There's so many ways to distribute your education values to people out there. And this is where it gets started. You're sharing every single thing that you know about the industry or niche that you have chosen, the niche that you want to share to people. This is where your branding starts in. This is where you become a contributor. You have the confidence to show up and, say, here I am. I'm putting my content out here. And the most important, like I say, how would you differentiate yourself from so many people out there? It's through your brand story. Okay, every single of us are different. We all have different stories. And each and every one of us have a unique thumb as well, thumbprint. And it's bizarre how each and every one of us have different thumbprint. We are all human, but that is why we are all created uniquely with our own story. Now the story should be relevant to your purpose. It should be related to your purpose. If you are intended to become someone, what was the story behind it? For example, when I left my job to start my own business, what was my story behind it? What I wanted to do. Now, when I tell my story, the people who are going through the same problem that I was facing is going to be your top client in the future, because they are where were you last time. We say that your clients are the past version of yourself, the past version of you. Who were the past version of you? They are the people now, and they will come to you to get your help. So your brand story is very, very strong. Telling story, make it interesting, because you are unique. Like I say, brand story is going to make you unique. That's what is going to differentiate you from the others out there. Again, one of the questions that I receive is also like, millions of people creating content, millions of people creating stories, who will even buy from you, want to buy my services. Now, when we want to achieve a certain financial goal, or looking to serve our clients, how many people are we looking into? 100, 1,000, 10,000, depending on the value of our package, right? Now, that's where we are heading to. We have specifically selected an industry or niche, and that's where we're trying to selectively be famous. You're not famous out of that zone. Someone asked me who was Gary Vee, because they are not in the online world, in the marketing, the sales world. They don't know who is Gary Vee. Similar to you, you're not going to be famous in every single industry. There are billions of people using social media every single day. Your portion is there. It's how you are telling your story and reaching out to them. That's how I felt in the beginning. Oh, there are so many people doing this. How am I going to even find the community that will be interested to buy from me? And it happened. It's because through the stories that I say, it's because through genuinely sharing what I was going through in my life, and why am I doing what am I doing today. So be clear about your brand story, which I call as your origin story, is because who you are today is because of that story. It can get very interesting when we start storytelling. Okay, but I'm not going there. So let's go to the next 2 slides. So this was what I was talking about, right? When we are sharing something, when we are building our content, we are trying to show all our success. We're trying to, make sales, sell to people. Now, the more people actually want to hear your brand story, your struggles. They want to know your struggles and why you have become who you are today. And be your authentic self. The right opportunity will come to you at the right time from the right people by being the authentic you. Just be consistent, and like I said, the right opportunity will come in. And that also through providing values. The more values you put out there, the more things you're helping people to provide solution which now you'll agree with me that it's not new. Whatever that you share, people can go and find very easily on the internet. But now, how are you going to make it stand out from every and each one of people out there? By learning more, by expanding your knowledge. And that's where you can provide more values. I speak more about this inside my ebook as well. I have a free ebook, the 4 steps that you take to start building your personal brand. You can actually go to my website and download, or if you want the link, I can share with Marina later. If you're getting started on personal branding and you have no idea, you don't know what you want to start with, then you can refer to the personal brand, to the ebook. as it will give you the 4 Ds on how you can get started with personal branding. And that is provide the point that I was touching, that I will be touching in the ebook, is the values that you're providing to people. Now, lastly, eventually, okay, the success of your personal branding is through the content that you put out there. Yeah, how are you attracting the people? It's through the content that you put out there, and that is strategic content and the clarity of yourself, of your brand. Now, if you do not have clarity of your brand, sometimes, I don't have as well. I always like to go back and refer back my notes because I don't have clarity. Sometimes my content goes out of my purpose. Then you have to go back and look back on my purpose, on my values. And the clarity is so important. And lastly, how are you going to convert? Whether it's making sales or any kind of opportunities that you want, whether for new job opportunities, new speaking gig, how are you trying to create the opportunity for you? So clarity in your purpose, attracting through the right strategies, and finally converting them. Converting them also have a lot of steps in that. How you launch, how you talk to them, how you pursue them to buy from you, come under the conversions. So these 3 will actually determine the success of your personal branding itself. Okay, so if anyone say that, how do I see if my personal branding is becoming successful, is when your leads is converting to become a customer, or you got the opportunity that you want at the end. Now, that is the end of the session. Okay, I hope so. Yeah, that is the end of the slides. But the next slide, I'm just going to talk about my 4 weeks group program that is coming up in February. Okay, so this is known as Personal Branding Mastery. So for anyone who's looking to starting a personal brand, you want to leverage LinkedIn, you want to monetize your passion, your expertise that you have, then this program is the right one for you. It's 4 weeks, just 4 weeks. By these 4 weeks, there are tons of value for you to get started. It's not a stretched program where it goes up to 3 months, because I want you to take a quick action and start branding yourself out there. So anyone interested, you can reach out to me through LinkedIn, or you can go to my website and check it out as well. Okay, so not sure what's the time. It's 11:45. Okay, so it's 4:45. What's the time? It's 7:45 in Georgia.
7:45 in Georgia, yeah. But we have people from other countries too, not just from Georgia. I don't know exactly what time in their countries.
Okay, so 11:45. I'm so sorry, Marina. I didn't expect the the talking points to go for such a long time, because I promised her that it is just for 30 minutes and it has gone up to 40 minutes. But that's fine. I can take up any kind of questions, that people have.
It was very, very interesting, Shalini. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
really
everyone who
very useful.
Listen to me.
Yeah, it's very practical, and I think our attendees will gain a lot of knowledge and implement. The most important part to implement, to start making steps and implement knowledge, because knowledge without implementation is nothing.
Like I said, you will walk up from the room with values. But the first thing that I want you to know to do is getting started. No matter where you want to get started, as a contributor, as a listener, as a supporter, start somewhere, because you will learn to implement whatever that I taught today. You will learn throughout the journey yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Now I think we have some questions in chat, so please.
Can you read out the questions? Now let me see.
Well, I think you already answered to some of them, but yeah, why would I be branding myself? Why should I have it? And what does it look like? How do I use personal branding in my career effectively? How do I manage it? why I cannot hear the that's nothing. Yeah.
So for example, when it comes to career, a lot of people, whether you're graduates or someone who's looking for a new job, when you are establishing your brand especially on LinkedIn, when it comes to career, you are sharing your expertise in a certain field that you are in currently. And when you are looking for a new job and the HR or the recruiting team actually go look for you in internet search. Nowadays, that's what happened. The hiring managers will go and look for you in the Google, who's this person and what this person have established online. Now, if you have a great content shared on your platform, on your social media platform, especially LinkedIn, it would be an additional value for yourself itself. And when you want to even reach out to the HR by yourself, through the brand that you have established for you, when you reach out to the HRs, the opportunities or the probability of them responding to you is very, very high. So keeping your profile with a good brand, that is by sharing what you know about the industry that you are in, it is definitely going to benefit your career in the long term.
Thank you very much. And dear attendees, if you have any other questions, please write them in chat.
So Jasper, does it require a thorough planning or just jump in, do it, keep improving? So obviously there are a lot of planning that need to be done. Like I said, the strategy, what are the strategy that you want to have to create a different kind of emotion from people through the content strategy that you have itself, through the purpose, the clarity, the values that you are trying to provide. But like I said, for anything that you want to get start is to get started, because you want to gain the momentum first. And when you started and then you start learning the strategies that you need, is going to help you to move faster. Rather than learning everything, perfecting everything, that's when you want to start, then you will be back to zero, because when you're starting, you can't implement an advanced method. You won't be able to implement the advanced method you learn in branding, but it will be more on the beginners. But when you started and want to grow, that's where you apply different strategies, the advanced strategies of the branding. I hope I answered it, Jasper.
We have another question, Shalini.
Oh, so what are the world top 3 personal branding experts that you follow and learn from them? So I would say definitely Gary Vee. There's no doubt. I love him. He is blunt. He speaks straight to your face, and that's what I like in his brand. And he believes that he has the confidence in everything that he says, even though it could be wrong sometimes. But he just convinces us that he's right, and that's the confidence that I like in Gary. And the other people I love what's her name? Maria Folio. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. So she is a very established business person as well, who is a multiple $million business woman now, who have established her own brand through different kind of platforms out there. So I love her as well. And there's one more person that actually there are a lot of people that I like, but I follow some people diligently, and that is definitely Gary Vee and also Mario Folio. And one more person that I can say is who is that? Yeah, Simon. I like Simon as well. Simon Sidik. His values are also very great to people. Whatever that he shares with people is very relevant to what we are going through. So I love his inputs as well. As you see, all these people actually started building their brand. We don't even know what company they're running. So, but eventually people buy from them is because of the brand that they have established for themselves. And that's what I believe in when it comes to personal branding. It has to merge with your company branding. So no matter who you are, whether you are employed to someone, whether you're doing your own business, your personal branding is going to help your company branding at the same time.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have another question? Well,
Yeah, I think that's all.
yeah. So may I ask you?
Yeah.
Well, I know your story, and I attended your 4 days course, and it was really very interesting. Thank you very much again. And I want to know, why did you decide 2 years ago to switch to entrepreneurship? Because as I know, you were very successful in your job. So how you understood that it's time?
So, where should I start? Okay. 2 years ago, I actually left my corporate job. So I was working in Singapore. So once I returned to Kuala Lumpur, I actually left my job. It's because, okay, I'm a person who always like to do things different from people around me. If someone is doing A, I always will choose to do B, because I always like to take the path less traveled, because I always believe that if people are not taking the path, that means there are abundance of opportunities in that path. And I figured people who have taken the path less traveled have achieved a lot in their life, but of course with a lot of risk and struggles. And I'm someone who, to a certain level, able to take risk. And at that point of time, because I had a good saving, and I know that, if I'm not doing it now, I'm going to do it in the future. And I don't want to do it in the future knowing that the commitment is going to grow over a period of time. And I know that this would be the right time to do. And when people ask me, when I was a young time, what you want to be, I always say that I want to be a businesswoman. And I became an engineer though, but I know that I want to change that. And when I was an engineer, I always had a side hustle. I always had something doing after my full-time job. Either I was actually providing some makeup services. I was selling some products. I was in e-commerce business. I also even started a food-based business as well. So I did a lot of things while I was working in full-time. And when I returned and when I conceived with my first child, I know that I can't delay this anymore. And when the commitment increases, when things are changing in my life, I won't be able to take too much of risk. And as I want to take the path less traveled, I choose it to do it now rather than doing it in the future. Because thinking about it now, if I leave everything and go back to my job, in 2 years' time, I will be back to where am I today. And that's where I knew that this is not going to change. This is where I want to be. And I made a conscious decision that I'm never going to look back. And there's only one plan A. There's no plan B. I need to, by hook or crook, make this happen. And that is actually, the story is deep down more, but I just want to touch the part where, why I actually moved through from a corporate to being who am I today. And what was another question? Is that the question, right? I answered you.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your story. And one more personal maybe question, because I know that I saw pictures, and I know that you are mom, and how you manage your time, because now in office home environment, it's not so easy. How you manage your time?
Yeah, so it's not only me. I would say all the parents out there are having a difficult time during this lockdown. I mean, we are back to lockdown again. Some countries are open. You might be traveling freely, but a lot of us are under lockdown, and it can be very depressing, stressful when you are 24/7 have something to do. That's because you have a child, right? And I'm an introvert, and I love a moment of silence in my life. And it's very difficult to get it when your child with you 24/7. And I'm a night owl as well, so I stay awake very late at night until 1 or 2 a.m. and get that time that I wanted for myself, because I love that quiet time in my life. and before I go to sleep, just do nothing, having that quiet mind for me. And if you ask me how I manage, is that everyone is trying to manage. It has been a year now. I just find what works for me. And if I know that at a certain period of time my productivity is higher, that's when I try to make best of that time. If I know that today I can work in the afternoon 2 to 4 and at night during this period of time, I'm most productive at night. Yeah, so I'm most productive at night. So if I want to do any productive work, then I will focus it at night. During the daytime, I'll try to do more of a creative kind of work. So that's how I think, you look into what really works for you eventually. For different people, it works differently. So I'm just sharing what works for me.
Okay, thank you very much. I see that we have some more questions in chat, Shalini.
Okay,
how many connections do you have on LinkedIn?
Okay, I have 12.6K, so going to be 13K. I hope so soon. Well, it took me almost 8 months to actually be in this number, and that's actually quite long. I've seen a lot of people who reached like 50, 100K within like 5-6 months. So it works differently for each and every one, what kind of methods that you apply, and the purpose eventually, right? Why are you there? And my focus is I want to get to my target audience, for someone to eventually get value from what am I sharing and want me to serve them more. So whoever that's connecting with me are the people who are looking into me serving them. And whatever works for you based on the content that you put out there, the reach out it's getting, that's how the organic reach comes in LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is a great place to grow organically now. So whoever haven't started their journey on LinkedIn yet, I highly recommend you to, maybe you can start now with whatever that you have learned from this session today.
Okay, thank you very much. And another question, what are the 2 most difficult topics for you to deal with regarding personal branding? 2 more difficult topics.
One that is very, very difficult is for a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs or executive level in corporates and all that, they don't understand the importance of the person branding. So a lot of time they were like, why do I need person branding? These kind of companies where they have grown by themselves over, those period of time where you don't really need an online platform to grow. But now things have changed and their mindset has not shifted yet. So they still like, no, I can survive without this. I can still implement the offline method that I did before in order to grow my business. Yes, you can. But now the best way to grow your business is having both offline and also online. And this is where you're going to, if you're not online, your competitor is going to take over all your clients. And you're going to lose in offline as well. And explaining to them why it is so important to start their personal branding is one of the toughest things that I would say, okay, in personal branding. And another thing is a lot of people who want to get started in personal branding, they like the first question that I say is that they're afraid that what if people say something? I'm sharing, I'm scared that people are going to judge me, people are going to, there will be a lot of keyboard warriors, they're going to, say something about the things that you have shared. Now, that's something that you have to, I'll say it's part of the game. When you show up online, people are going to criticize you, people are going to say something, and you have to accept that. I have people say many things when I posted, say that this is not right, what you're saying, you shouldn't educate people this way. Whatever that you share, there will always be haters in what you do. And that's good, because you have haters, you have some people who loves you, and that's where, same, right? Your celebrities, some people love them, some people hate them. It works the same when you're trying to build your brand. And that's another thing that's stopping a lot of people from starting, like people like us from starting. And for me to break that barrier and to push them give them the momentum to get started. Personal branding is the second toughest. So I would say both is about starting on LinkedIn, but two different category of people. People in executive corporate business and normal ordinary people like us who's looking to build their brand. Okay, I hope I answered your question, Nina. Thank you, Jasper. Thank you so much for joining this session. So thank you, everyone. I see. So that was the last question. Thank you, Jasper. Okay, drop off. Okay,
I think
Jasper.
you answered all questions, Shalini. Yes. Now I just want to ask you, give final tips. 3 main tips for personal branding from Shalini.
Okay, so if you ask me, I will give you one tip. Okay. Implement this one tip. Okay, if you want your personal branding, if you're getting started with personal branding and you want it to thrive, I would say live a story-worthy life. Story-worthy life. So what do I mean by that? Make your life interesting. No one wants to listen to a boring life. So you have to make your life interesting, but that doesn't mean that faking yourself, showing off that, you're like doing this, that, and all that, but something that's going to add value to yourself and to your audience itself, which is going to make them interested to see more of your life. And eventually, personal branding is about them following your journey of branding yourself and growing your business, where they want to be part of you as well eventually at the end, because they want to do the same thing that you are doing. And if you think that your life is boring, a lot of people, who wants to listen to me? My life is kind of boring. I don't want to share. If you think that life is boring, then, start reading more books, start buying new things, show to people the books that you're reading, go to new places, share about the next event that you're going, the next, industry expert that you're meeting, all these small little things you can do from your home, from your comfort of your home, and making it interesting the way that your target audience will find it interesting. So live a story-worthy life. Don't live a boring life. If you think that it's boring for you, it's gonna be boring for everyone who's listening to you, because frankly, you want to share your life. Now, when you're building your brand, it's eventually sharing the life that you're going through, and you want to make it interesting. You want people to know that you're living an interesting life, and they want to follow the journey together with you. So that is my one tip for anyone. Make your life more interesting, share it to the world.
Thank you, Shalini, for such a great tip, really. Yeah, because from my point of view, brand is a promise, and you should live up your promise. So best brand is authentic. Thank you, Shalini, for your tips, and thank you, attendees, for your interest. See you at the next webinar.